Have you ever been sitting with people and still felt somewhere else? Like your brain is running 17 tabs at once, replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, solving a problem nobody asked you to solve, noticing something weird about how the light hits the wall, and somehow you're still expected to just be normal? It just feels like that sometimes. What if the things that feel the strangest about how you think are actually signs of something a lot rarer? Today, we're going into the 4 silent behaviors that show up in highly intelligent people, the ones nobody talks about because they don't look like intelligence. They look like flaws. First, you're not weird. You're wired differently. The education system was built to reward one very specific kind of thinking. Fast, linear, follow the template. If your mind works in loops, spirals, or silence instead of straight lines, you were probably told at some point that something was wrong with you. Nothing was wrong. You were just in the wrong room. And a lot of what you've labeled as your quirks or problems, they're adaptations. Your brain learned to survive, and it got really creative doing it. Thing 1. They go quiet when they care the most. Most people assume confidence looks loud, but in high intelligence people, depth of processing actually slows down output. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain handling complex reasoning, requires more energy and more time when the stakes feel real. So when a highly intelligent person goes silent in an argument or holds back in a meeting, it's not insecurity. It's their brain doing more work than anyone in the room realizes. The silence isn't absence. It's processing at full capacity. Thing 2, they feel emotions more intensely than they show. This one's subtle. High intelligence is often linked to something called emotional intensity, a nervous system that picks up on more, registers more, and stores more. You might feel a piece of music physically, feel tension in a room before anyone speaks, feel embarrassed on behalf of a stranger, and then show almost nothing on the outside. Because somewhere along the way you learned that being that sensitive wasn't safe, so you just stopped showing it. You feel everything. You broadcast almost none of it. Thing 3, they obsessively revisit conversations, especially the ones they won. You said the right thing, you handled it well. And then at 2 a.m., you're replaying it, finding every possible flaw, every way you could have been clearer, kinder, more precise. This is called post-processing. And in highly intelligent people, it's almost involuntary. Your brain has a high standard for truth and accuracy. Even when you're not wrong, your brain keeps checking. It's exhausting. It's also how you keep getting sharper. Thing 4. They get bored by success and anxious about ease. When things come too easily, something feels off. Not because you're ungrateful, but because your brain is built for resistance. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter that drives motivation, releases not just at the reward, but at the anticipation of challenge. When there's no challenge, your brain doesn't trust it, so you self-sabotage, or seek something harder, or feel strangely empty after winning. You're not broken, you're just calibrated for depth. And here's the thing about growing up online. The attention economy was built to reward surface-level speed, quick takes, hot reactions, instant certainty. And if your brain naturally slows down to go deep, you've spent years watching everyone around you seem more confident, more decisive, more together. You've basically been comparing your inside to everyone else's highlight reel. That was always going to feel like losing hustle culture told you that overthinking is a weakness. Comparison culture told you that being quiet means being behind. The algorithm told you that if you're not performing your intelligence loudly, it doesn't count. None of that is true, but it left a mark. Every one of these behaviors is a survival adaptation that got you here. The silence is discernment. The emotional intensity is data. The post-processing is calibration. The discomfort with ease is a drive for meaning. These aren't flaws that need to be fixed. They're signals that need to be understood. The problem was never that you think too much. It's that nobody taught you what to do with a mind like yours. But yeah, here's the part that kind of sucks. Staying stuck in these patterns without awareness will cost you. The silence becomes isolation. The emotional vault becomes numbness. numbness. The post-processing becomes anxiety that never turns off. The restlessness becomes self-destruction dressed up as ambition. Knowing this about yourself isn't enough. You have to start working with it, not just labeling it. 3 small things. Today, no overhaul needed one. Name the loop when it starts. When you catch yourself replaying a conversation at midnight, say out loud or write, "My brain is post-processing. This is what it does. I don't need to solve this right now." You're not suppressing it. You're giving it a container too. Find one place where your depth is the point. A conversation, a project, a journal, a person. High-intelligence people deteriorate in environments that only reward speed. You need somewhere that values your full range, that even once a week. 3. Practice exiting the comparison feed. Not forever, just for one morning. Notice what your actual thoughts are when they're not being filtered through what everyone else seems to be doing. Your baseline intelligence has always been there. The noise was just very loud. If you've ever sat in silence while everyone around you spoke and felt like you were failing at existing, I want you to hear this. You were never the problem. You were just carrying a mind that nobody handed you instructions for. And honestly, the fact that you're here thinking about this, trying to understand yourself instead of just numbing out, that's already the thing most people never do. Let me know in the comments, which one of these 4 felt the most like you? I actually go through them. And if this reached something, consider sharing it with someone who might need it more than you do. See you next video.